They had laughed. They had leaned on each other and laughed until the tears had come, while everything else, the cold and where he'd go in it, was outside for a while anyway. Okay, so we've covered scarcity, loss aversion, anxiety, anxiety-reducing behavior. Rinse, repeat. You are obviously going into this with an idea of what that anxiety-reducing behavior is, but your wife isn't. And as I've pointed out repeatedly, you can't just tell her. You can never break the covert communication here. If your wife asks if you're having an affair, or accuses of you being distant, you cannot respond in any way that indicates you're doing this at least partially, if not entirely, because you want her concluding the exact thoughts she's concluding. You want the hamster running and running and running, just like the boss in my earlier example. Let her in on the dread and the hamster stops. Even worse, the hamster will be really pissed off that you made him run so much and got him so tired for no real reason. The hamster only gets to stop, your wife only gets to feel less anxiety when you get the desired behavior from her. However, when it comes to dread, getting the hamster going is an incomplete analogy. We use the term hamstring for someone having an irrational flurry of thoughts that aren't actually leading to any sort of logical conclusion. It's just a hamster spinning in a wheel, lots of energy expended but no actual distance traveled. So I want to propose a new yet similar analogy, the hamster maze. You want to direct a hamster to reach a certain thought, for example, if I don't have more sex with my husband, he will leave me. But you can't just tell the hamster to go there. When your wife is feeling anxiety over dread, you can't just tell her what she can do to reduce that anxiety. You cannot have this conversation. Wife, are you having an affair? You. No, why do you think that? Wife, well, you've been obsessed with working out and you changed your whole wardrobe and you're basically never home. I'm worried, it's like I don't even know you anymore. You should probably try having more sex with me. I bet that would make you feel like you still know me. Would be nice if that was all it took. But that's not how it works. For dread to be most effective, the hamster has to figure it out for himself. Dread is essentially directed hamstering, but with an indirect method. So in dread, this cycle of anxiety then anxiety-reducing behavior is really more like putting the hamster in a maze, and then setting up paths in the maze so the hamster can find your desired exit. This is why active dread can backfire, because hamsters don't like being in mazes, and active dread makes it pretty goddamn obvious you're setting up a maze. Passive dread can have a hamster enter a maze without realizing it. This is why it is so effective and powerful. Once you've set this up, you're very likely to get some great results. It may take a while, but typically your wife's hamster will find the desired exit. So she has sex with you. Then she realizes that will reduce her anxiety and make her feel good. Then anxiety sets in and the hamster finds itself in the maze again. It'll consider looking for the have sex with husband exit. It will likely find it even faster this time around. And so on and so forth. Eventually, the hamster doesn't even realize it's in a maze anymore because it really isn't. Your wife legitimately likes fucking the new and improved you now. There is no maze necessary. And whenever feelings of dread do arise, the hamster has memorized the exact path it needs to take to eliminate those feelings of dread, and can navigate it immediately. Sounds pretty goddamn ideal, right? And it is. Almost. It can work this well. It can also work kind of not so well. The next list of videos will be Dread Pitfalls Part 1 of 2, Dread Pitfalls Part 2 of 2, Wrap Up.